Right, so this is the second episode in our ATS hardcore series. We're going to look for a job here. I almost always pick the top one in the list when you sort by price per distance, as long as it's not a special transport job. In this case, it's going to put us in the International Lone Star. We'll go ahead and listen to this start. Beautiful. So this truck happens to be carrying tandem trailer or doubles. Um, so we're gonna have a really fun time driving through the mountains of Idaho for this one. We are going from Billings, Montana to a place called Grangeville. Small town in Idaho, apparently. I don't know, I've never been there. Once again, we're going to do a bunch of fob setup things that you don't you don't really care about, um, and get ourselves set up to get on the highway. So I am using a manual H shifter with a gear knob based on the Eaton 18 speed, as I mentioned in the last video. Um, you will hear me often miss gears. It's just the way it is. I use the H shifter in non-synchronized transmission mode, so you can't just clutch, change gear, unclutch. So we ended up getting stuck in some traffic here, unfortunately because we set some rules up about not, crushing traffic with our truck. I was forced to wait in line, which I'm a little unaccustomed to, so it's not the prettiest, but it is certainly an interesting adventure. So we're kind of sort of eyeballing what we can do. I forgot I was still in 8 high, so that caused me to absolutely stall the piss out of this engine. But we got it started again and got it shifted to first, and we ended up go. That worked out a little better for us because we needed that lower end torque to be able to eventually merge in. As you can see, lots and lots of cars. We put our blinker on, and these guys decided to wait for us, and that was super polite. So we get ourselves up to speed a little bit, and of course, it's a police car with a car pulled over. They must have done something pretty incredible to deserve that treatment. We continued our trip on our way to Grangeville, driving through lots of beautiful scenery in Montana. This is one of them things that I'll be absolutely honest. I play this game a lot, and the first time I drove through Montana and Wyoming, I thought to myself, these are just gorgeous areas. I kind of wouldn't mind living here. And of course, we get flagged by a way station along the way, so that was a fun little detour on our adventure. We go ahead, pull up and stop. You can roll through these, but again, I imposed on myself some rules that say that I won't be, an awful driver. We're weighing in at a little under 72,000 pounds. Remember that next time you're pulling out in front of a semi hauling a heavy load of stuff that, they can't quite stop as well as you. I love the sound of that engine rolling through third, fourth, and fifth. It just sounds so crisp. So the rest of this trip was pretty uneventful. One of the things I do when I'm driving is take a nice look at the scenery that we have. And for the most part, apart from a few areas that are just a little older, the scenery is just absolutely gorgeous. It makes you really feel engaged and connected to the world around you. Um, this game being 10 years old now, I want to say, some of it's a little dated in areas like, especially Nevada, but the rest of it, I mean, just look at the sun and the trees, the mountains, the hills. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I loved this area, this specific area of the drive when we get on this two-lane highway and we're just weaving through the mountains in the dark. I mean, this was so much fun. Um, this is one of the things that I really enjoy about this game is the variety of roads that you do get. You know, you don't get every road in the U.S. That would be, well, first off, I'm not going to take 38 hours and drive from point A to point B, but second, there'd just be too much going on. It's nice that they limit the amount of roadways that you can use. There are some hidden roadways that we'll explore in some later episodes, but for the time being, I mean, this was such a fun part of the trip, up and down the hills and mountains, and just doing it all in the dark with no real care in the world. We finally got to our destination, this little town called Grangeville, and you know, it was one of them things that I after this drive, I was reflecting on it, and I think I really enjoyed this Lone Star as a truck to drive. I think it looks absolutely terrible. If you want to see what it looks like, go look at the beginning. I do a exterior shot of it, but I think that it was so much fun to drive. It was really an enjoyable vehicle. Interior-wise, it fits everything I would want. So I think we might think about using it more some point in the future. SCS fortunately doesn't make you back doubles. There are mods to do that, but I don't use them because I am not a sadist. We completed our trip. I think in real time it took me about 45 minutes or so to do this. And for our first skill point we're about to get, we're going to go ahead and dump that in long distance. That's kind of the best first place to spend it. And then we will do more in the next run.